morning and welcome to our breakfast today. Elections are still far away, maybe say 3 years to come, but parties are strategically planning how to face that election. Well, in advance, we already know, of course, the way the president is trying to put issues on what happened at this point. And other parties seem to be running less well, preparing better for their elections when they happen. But today, we want to look at TNA, the National Alliance, the party, ruling party, part of the coalition, the president's own party. So in the studio this morning, we have the party executive director, Mr. Madai. Karibu. Asante. Mr. Madai. I'm calling you Madai. So, how is the party going so far? Being quiet from July 1st. Things are not required to say either something's cooking or nothing is happening, which is the case.
I think the party went quiet because, like you said, we have to remain competitive and we learn from our environment and our competitors. But of late, we have been on the ground very quiet. Working on the company of ESA's recruitment. As it stands now, we are still putting with the most registered employees according to the figures.
Yes, but you're going to prove that fact.
Yes, but now we are going to another level, and being the digital party, we have taken this registration to the guidance every Kenyan's hold. Even just striking *245# you are a member, your project how to become a member. We have also, like other parties in compliance with the Act, being activating the offices countrywide. We have 30 active offices because ultimately we want our offices to be different from what party offices are, to be like Huduma centers, right? Where young people who may want information on policy enforcement, opportunities in government, the uptake of the youth fund and everything like that, would go there irrespective of their party affiliation and access this information. And we think in that interaction, then we could move some of them to what clearly was just another tool for everyone.
What does the meaning of what is this administration?
But yes, we are in compliance, otherwise we won't be existing. What happens is that parties, just like this country called Kenya, parties have to pay their finance. So when you register your party, you also register your documents like the party constitutions. And in the party constitution, you clearly say how people hold offices, and how people and the term of that office is like in our case is 5 years. In our case is 5 years. From 74,
so when our elections
legally, the elections are 2017.
The election year
is. But then again, there are other organs of the party that will sit and review, like you have just noted, that this is an election year. If the other organs sit and think that is not a very strategic year, they can review and inform the register of political party. But as we talk now, all the officials who are in office are in office legally, and the constitution creates a way how then the party engineers itself. Say, for example, some people have transited into government or ceased to be eligible to hold offices. Those positions are filled through the mechanism.
There was a reason there were some ripples in the party a couple of months ago with the pressure, the team led by the other who wanted to take over this, but some of the chairman was
Yes.
Why was that the case? Elections are not due in the country.
What happened is that I think it is lucrative now. It is strategic for people to hold party offices because they can see the profile of their counterparts in the opposite parties are receiving. But I think also that our constitution is very sufficient because we want, when, say for example, one of us becomes chairman, for example, he should be also protected by the constitution. So you cannot less on power from any other place other than the duty process. So what we say is that they all have parliament, which is an organ of the party. And that time, maybe had felt that matters were not, being conducted, but certain things were just cleared, and a truth was found, and we realized that
and first, cover up, because there was allegations that money had been misappropriated, which significantly benefited the chambers. There was nothing of the sort. Party funds allocated from the political parties fund. What is the position?
I think one thing I'll say, it is not bad for members to want to come and hold positions. And then just coming back to the area of finances. We are just like any other government institutions in our case. We are audited by the Auditor General. And there is no way you're going to qualify to get funding for the next year if you are not satisfied. And I think those were very valid questions that our members at all levels were asking. And I think the onus now was on the party secretariat and the leadership to put everything there so that then people could scrutinize, because then it was moving from 200 million to 160 million or figures. And I think that was a very good opportunity for us as a party.
So was there finding that some money was allocated in some specific embezzled?
And I think people were forgetting that it was an election year where even 50 million could be used. So when you just have a look at the statement without now going into the depth of how the expenditure and how the money was allocated, I think those are the things that went clear. But I think the very original of that story may have not been something positive. It was being used to maybe undermine some leadership. But we also now say there is no bad crisis. When the crisis comes, you make up to it, and we are able now to explain to the whole country. And because not only to our members, because we wanted our members to join TV. They will not join TV if they think it is a party that is not straight in terms of figures and how to use its finances. So we are good. Everyone is satisfied, and we are now preparing to receive our allocation for this year. And at that point, I would say that we still say as a political party, because the Constitution has prescribed the amount that political parties should hold, only that we don't want to pass the way the county governments does. We want parties to get their funding as is prescribed by the Constitution.
Why are we not getting that? TNA is not enough, it doesn't need this money.
No, we need. Yes. We are in a different time. We are living in very different times. Where we don't depend on the benevolence of any member. Yes. And that is why we are able to exist. That's why we are able to run our own programs. That's why we are also able to exercise a lot of independence as a party.
Normally, I find political politicians use that from the propaganda and setting economic. This is very well. But if you back it later, and it seems to be now, after the elections, they are not no longer interested in political parties. They are not after the election. Is that
I would say we have talked, when you state that way, you are talking about different areas. Those areas, people depending on the benefit or the device of their rich, owners or certain identities that may not be given offices to belong to. Yes, but now like last year, we received close to 100 million to run our programs, because I think the Constitution has recognized parties as serious institutions of the democratization process. Right now, like you said, the president is recognized by the party as the party leader, but we have a substantive chair and office that is so independent to run activities. But of course, since parties are the ones that give birth to government, there is that linkage, because we need to know if our manifesto is how policy is.
Well, the question is how effective is the party is really involved or what that question is asked with the background that every election gives birth to new parties.
Yes.
So we see it in very limited election. It is not like along the way.
I think our institutions are created by the constitution of the party. We have full mandate.
Okay, the question I'm trying to the answer I expect is with regard to how is the interaction, at what point does the president interact with the party, if at all? We're saying he's conducted a meeting. He hasn't held any meetings with the party. We haven't seen any party have meetings that the president has.
I'll tell you that he is not a member of the National Executive Council, which is the highest level. But when we call our delegates conference, he will appear as sitting in the Europe. And then you have it, we haven't, because it is due in a few months. And it's like in September, we will be having our National Delegates Conference. And that is why we are now doing our recruitment so that then we can assess the performance. Like you said, we are looking at the manifesto that we created. But I will tell you that also the president engages now the top officials. Because we can go on the field, we engage quietly even with the CSs to see that the roadmap that was created by the Jubilee Manifesto, which is a collapse of manifestos from RC, the MAC, the URP, and TNU. So we engage with the presidency, even we say. We also have officers there. The presidency has officers that are purely political. Like the advisories, the people who make sure that the CSs and the PSs are implementing the process. I mean, the process of governance and the policies. So I think engaging with the president here must be seen also from the institutional aspect. Otherwise, when, like for example, you engage with the Chinese friends, you know how they are serious with the parties. So the top leadership travels to go and engage with the party at that level. And when they come on this side, like there was a very serious delegation from the CPC a few weeks ago. And when they come to this country, they are hosted by the coalition partners. And they finally culminating into an interaction with the presidency at a personal level. Because we need to audit ourselves every other time. Because 2017, it is not the CSs who will go to ask for a new mandate with the people. It is the politicians, it is the parties.
Now, obviously, TNA is one of the youngest parties, just for the couple of months from the election. You just seem to be active branch. Are those growing or just taking them away? Just compared with the political parties for the election. And are you reaching out to other parts of the country where TNA is not existing? I would say that even before registration, we have to comply. Literally, they want to know if we are everywhere. But what we have done now is going out of our comfort zones. Because we represent Kenya. We are not, and our stronghold only has up to about 11 counties. These offices are in 30 counties. But when you look at also at how we got our members of parliament, we have a footing in close. We got 2 members of parliament. We have a footing in the Nyazi, where we got some members of parliament from Tessa. We have a footing in Northeast, and we got a member from Nigeria. So, but what we are saying now, we are going to use those soft grounds to also launch our presence properly into those counties. We are heading back to which parts of the country are you targeting to? Of course, going to senatorial in the tops of political parties. We're looking out of central Kenya region. Where are you heading next? Okay, let me say we're not heading in Kansas. Yes. If you look at Kisii, we have had 3 elections. We maintained our seats in the honorable country. And then when we realized that we could partner with 4 people, we have gotten back 2 seats and snatched 1 from Korea. So we are strengthening our ground in that aspect. We know some parts of Nyanza where we have a very soft landing on the Korea side. And what I'm saying is that our approach is we want to have a foot in this country. Because we think now, unlike before,
four directions. People are looking at TNA's leadership. You are so many doubts. And we want to cash in on the gains made by this government so that then we can tell people of this country that this is a pass open for all of us to hide instead of being in the politics.
Okay, but there will still be some difficulties within the first question being asked out is when they come together, you are PFC and come together. What is the engagement or interparty engagement or governmental relationships? We have between ourselves and we engage through instruments of correction. And so far, you cannot point out at all. I know we have everybody planned to against it and getting actively engaged with workshops. Yes, I was going to say that you are enough and yes, there are people come to settle. The answer is no. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Yes. We have an office, as we talk in now, where URP is very strong. We have an office in Western Division, where URP is very strong. We work like in this sense, that it's stronger. All of us being stronger makes all of us more stronger. So that very perspective, having an office in Helsinki and you know what happened, the kind of crisis that happened, like Mama and his Masai leaders trying to go to Central to meet the president, and they got back from URP, which made them pull back, right? I'll say this, that sometimes the things you did on press, even before maturity, before they mature, yes, and certain impressions are created. And I think that particular incident, it was true, yes, but there was no meeting set, because meetings are not set on the newspapers. So I think the way to see the meeting was cancelled. What I'm saying is that, managers they have things here and there, but from a leadership out there, the president and the deputy president, you believe anyone who has below here wanted to be inherent, they are focused, and they have shown all the constituents party, but I am just I'm not persuaded that it's all this marriage. Where the areas of conflict. If not, in fact, extending into each other's territory, like I said, teenage to compromise in what is perceived to be URP territory. URP was defended, and I know that the occasion when URP has tried to get into Central, and if they were not accompanied by the platforms of TNA there, there were always issues. And I think that's a very far from that, because we have this, we look at the level of secretary general and executive directors. For opening offices, actually, some, maybe the principals do not even know if it's about issues of some of these offices, because it is very clear that we must strengthen the constituent parties front to mind. And I think then that contradicts the direction that we have taken as parties. Because we say, if we can reach maximum from a certain area, that means to the others, that's what we are encouraging. And I know where you're coming from, especially now that it was when we were fielding candidates, and some of our candidates may have felt disadvantaged. But now, as we deal with political parties, it's even smoother. Because sometimes I can call the secretary general or the executive director of URP and ask them to give me a contact moment that will make their life a little bit easier, because now we understand clearly that we need to move together. So it's an understanding that you can open offices and whether that is that is the TNA or URP. I'm telling you, we will go from England towards you will find URP offices. TNA offices always on the same street. Because again, our drive is to make sure that sometimes we even forget. But so is in this area, so that you don't negate it. You go in there, make sure that you have a footing, so that then, again, there are people
people would have been different parties will appeal to different people because of what maybe they stand for and their leadership. So I think that one as a strategy is good.
What does it mean? It means that for that to really does not have budget. DNA has budget, yourself, but yes,
it really is not about it. It really is a coalition. And that is not a seat in Nairobi or now coalition matters discussed. And I don't think for now there are plans to make it a political party because you should realize now that member of parliament who is in London, is a European, is loyal to his party, but at the point of convergence is where now we have the Jubilee, which has pre-election members who are for and other members who joined us after the elections. And we're widening the needs to have more people come on board so that then at the option time, people then can discuss how they want to approach the 2017.
So your practice, that
yes, so far.
It's not to us about an office, an office, it's a town. What happens there?
Of course, at the county level, we have the county executive, the officials who are elected. And those are people, men and women who also have other fields, maybe they are business people. We put in a coordinator there, and I think what you coordinator is a post-out project. Yes, that might like your services to you. Yes, now those are the people who answer to the executive level and the party secretary. So that if you have a recruitment exercise happening, or a by-election, like what you found in Kiambu, where I told us how it runs. The prominence mostly was not even on a single member of parliament, but our chairman, the county chairman, you saw him, Mr. Korea, was there, very prominent, trying now to marshal all the forces to go to Gatondo and support our candidate. Because, and then if we want to send materials for nomination, that is now becomes our place of operation. Actually, it's evolving. So that then if we have something happening in Madara, all the activities are happening from now in the office.
So there's no situation where a DNA office is a private property of a person. It is directed out for a period and it will remain that violent.
You see,
material content period.
For instance,
from my area, the DNA office is the office. Yes, because the project is being made, so it's not the same. It's a private property. I don't know that's the DNA of the
you see the register of political parties demands visas. And visas, for you to qualify, you have an office in Gadiano, yes. There is the office of the IBC office there exists. They are able now to audit offices using the visas. And this is an agreement between the party and the people on the ground.
But America, that is because they institution.
Yes,
Secondly, the political parties secretariat registrar is not even able to carry out this audit to establish that.
If you ask the people as parties of the registers, they have the first ones. I can tell you, they use the office. You know,
that's not enough. In fact, let me refer you. Why I'm saying the information is being shared. Of course, we are watching this show and I'm saying questions comment for number 2 by SMS. But I think the correct of TNS for today was the party. And somebody has a bit of listeners from this goes to the very cool what we said. And from the time to come account, prior to the last elections, Tina already began promises as party officers council. 6 months rent was paid last. Until now, nothing else has been paid. The government official has said we're going to change any agreements. Our premises still bear party colors and we cannot rent to new tenants. Why are we not paid our dues? Or can we finally notify? This is Isaac Harper.
I think that's very right. What happened is that we had requested all the counties in this country to ensure we have offices in all over the country. And then, of course, after elections, yes, you know what happened.
That's what I'm saying. People just present officers for the duration for compliance with the registration of the parties could have been so I was going to be getting good. I was going somewhere with that. I put it last. Then after elections, what happened is that they did the audit. Because some of those offices may not even registered political parties for compliance. But I think it is good that particular person actually now gets in touch with the office because then that is in and see if that is one of the counters that have been identified because we are attending 30, yes, and 17, which are now being coordinated as from a region. You cluster them here, some countries are size of executive that he was abandoned, the office was converted for purposes, and we say that's because for that purpose of action. And then after that, on the back, we had such cases, and mostly you find that the offices were activated by the corporation or in that particular area. Some of them lost elections. So what we did is, first of all, we audited all our offices countywide because we wanted, first of all, to clear with the debts. And then we need to now look if the engagement between that particular landlord was between the office and our office and the landlord. I think there we have a serious obligation. Okay. But then all is not lost because that particular region needs an office. And I think I'll try to put it back on. So I was actually going to find the similarity now, talking about the moves going forward, we had that the birth of the people who are recruiting under 18s. What is that exactly? We traveled to a country called Norway, which actually is home of democracy and political parties. And we realized that taking the hours saying a Protestant or a Catholic by one teaching for the parents. And that country encourages parents to register kids, their children, in a political party. So that when you can, when you grow up, then you may decide to quit that particular political party or just don't continue. And then we explored as a party the tenacity of having a junior membership. The constitutionalism around it and everything. And we found that we are not engaged because mostly this will be done by the parents, the others. So we have introduced that junior membership because the people who are going to vote in 2017, for example, are how many years? Maybe they are 13, 14. In another 3-4 years, they'll be 18. If you capture them now, you will try to entice them with the party programs and the party policies and how the parties are playing, then that becomes a very good caption material. But contrary to what people think, we are not going to schools, we are not going to marketplaces and telling young people to line up for membership. But if you have 5, 6, 7 years members, and each one of that member has teenagers in the house, 2 or 3 who are going, there's no problem in asking them and telling them to join. So then, by the time they translate to 18, because if you charge in your contribution, if you have a charge, you have to pay for it for fun. Yes, in terms of your political party. How do I tell my young teenager to we have members of my groups. Let's now talk about the party and cards. And of course, like different young people pay how much money. You will only consider a member after they pay. For the young people, it's critical. And if we can give you their money, we will also give you their votes. That is the argument. And this is borrowed also from the banking. Our junior members hold bank accounts through proxy of their parents. And I think they end up becoming members of consumer banks. They may have been linked when they were young. And this is something, it's a tradition. It is new in this country. And we think even other people like us will find reason. Because we want to encourage the culture of parties in this country. And you had mentioned earlier, it is so sad when you see parties just being used as vehicles. Because I think
it is within parties that then people want to exercise some democracy, disagree at the level of political parties, agree, compete, so that then when they compete at the national level, there is no much emotion like what we have seen in the past. And I thank our members who attempt to do, our other political parties who attempt to do elections. They may be acrimonious, but then there is growth in the culture that you cannot just hold office to avoid agreement. At one point, you also remember you think in the constitution was in the women not because the mechanics of the party were actually that this party will not create a growth and passes somewhere on the corner. And when the party is happening, because that's how the leverage in this country are being used by political parties. The party is in the house. Somewhere, lollipop and policy classes, and that's why we ended up in a very German party. But what now the youth are engaging, they are saying, no, look, we feel that we need a youth because that is where we can also become that kind of South Africa. Where we can also exercise their own thing. And the party has opened up with the help of our National Democratic Institute. We have picked some young people from the country. So just engage and see how they would want the youth to be shaped and engage with the ways to political parties. And I think those proposals will be taken to the relevant organs because they say that is where those who want to go test our leadership and we think they are valid. And when that one happened, also the women now say, why not even for us? And so the parties considering those proposals, but as we stand now, we have all of them represented properly in their own eyes. Downtown. Yes, I used to have some of those that's a building that has come in. They opened that city, standing over there, in the front end. The building is started building, yes. Now you're not there anymore. The election is okay, yes. We love the offices. Yes. Because we thought that if we kept that office as now they have before the Lord, then you already count because the Nairobi County also deserves to have an office. So we make that one the county seat for Nairobi County, and of course we now move there somewhere closer to citizen where you belong. Not really, but you see now we have 8 governors, we have 73 members of parliament, we have so many MCs and senators, and now we thought in terms of serving our different categories of leadership. And when you can try to come to that place, it's really the need of office. And there are big buildings in this one. It's really famous because you can get 10 floors if you want. So why did you abandon your... No, we have not abandoned. We have gone out, we're not talking about it. No, I think if you look at it now that we are even stronger. But the party secretariat at the national level is like what we call the headquarters. But our activities, our Nairobi office, yes. And let me tell you strategically that is where when we are doing our nominations and everything, you might still find us retreat to that particular property because the building is also very accessible to our people. Abandoning would have come if we had shifted completely, but now we still hold it, and our Nairobi office sits there, and we think it's still a very strategic place where we can do our activities. There's a lot of complaints about how we treat the members. People who are during the election. That's one way we want election to get the young people. And a lot of them were in that the government is not in any manner other than not agreement. But if you want, if everyone really of complaints about young people we will get that we hired and promise them things which they never got. There's a valid, actually a valid position that some agents may not And then when people had these calls about certain people not being paid, even people who had been paid joined, which is normal because they were receiving money from a source entity that was not really taken, and somebody thought we had won some lottery or something. But what we have done with the activated offices, we have now served the very authenticated list of our agents and the people who receive the money. And we have asked our people to make sure they go to those offices which are now active and launch their campaign. Because again, issues of agents, again, you see, you must show that you have an appointment in a job. We appointed you, we accredited you to make you oversee our elections. And that's how we are able to do. 3 weeks ago, we have gotten the same complaint from our suppliers because some of them are not being fully paid. But you see, there was a delay again of the disbursement of the political parties. Found people went to court, the parties that forced that they have been left out. But now that one is gone, people are now happy. And I think when the admin part of the whole agency thing is done at our county level, and it's being overseen by our elected membership, especially the members of parliament, then we want in 2017 not come people who are not, and we are already telling them when they are getting in the program. It's not very nice. It is actually nice, but again, I told you we did 80-something or 90% of the payment. So, even when you ask people to give their bank details or their phone, sometimes we make some mistakes. And that has been sorted, and it has been faced, and everyone is on full cases already.
Okay. Until now, of course, I know the youth as full time. Was a youthful party that campaign is based on that presentation. Ironically, how does it still have from Saudi you are being what makes it different?
I think that shift of being a place where young people can be actually realize their aspirations is very visible in the way we do our things, in the way we engage with the young people.
And when you get the ideology, what's the difference between a political party? What's the difference? Ideology, you can have a party who is because of completely not like that. You look at the Republicans and the other, like the new Kenya, Kenya, what is Kenya?
Of course, TNA stands for transformative leadership. And that one has been seen in the way things have been because
I was not saying TNA does not stand for like it just wants things to work.
You see,
if there is no serious ideology, let me tell you, for example, ODM flag this thing that are social democrats. Every time you hear a lot of me say they're social democrats, yes. In contrast to what? You see, what would you describe yourself as the thing you said? The Republicans, the conservatives, the liberals.
You see, people have those, I'm supposed to call them ideologies, and then terminologies, and only engage them and listen. Yes. But we are saying this transformative leadership, when you look at our plans of Uwezo, Mercy, Chumi, you can see it, you can touch it. And that's what differentiates us from other political parties. Otherwise, you will also find in this country, even a Labour Party, just by name.
Yes.
Yes. So I think at that point we were very different. And we didn't want to join.
You have no particular identical allegiance. I would say that is not for nothing.
Because most of these things, I would say, are held. I don't do now the same parties. When people, particularly from the Labour Party, you go to the history of that party and you will find it is truly deserves that name. Yes. Today, and I'll tell you, ODM has been in government. We talk about ODM like it has been in government, but I would ask them, now that you have this ideology, what did you do different? Other than just telling them they can have food
tell you. I think the reason will not come to class.
Actually, not most of that, but fifth of that. So basically, that movement, that's making sure that things are happening and not just tying yourself to an ideology so that you sound like you're hip. I think that's what separates TNA from other political parties.
Alright, maybe just final elections have been winning elections left, right, and center. You have got one on a single platter in Petrobu. Somebody says, do you think that was fair that we didn't have elections? I think first and the post never parliament tickets. What is your projection going forward, especially that is we had a discussion on the candidates here, and I looked at it, but you already decided that they can go just to a disappointment. But what are your thoughts on this? What do you think?
Actually, first of all, maybe comment on the truth. Yes. You know the journey that was before even when the nominations being changed. We even before, the party hasn't added to its own mechanism of administration. And then having the candidate of Moses Kwe, very strongly opposed by a candidate on the ground. In the party moving in there and also making a very serious case and turning the fortunes to the advantage of our candidate. I will tell you, Makani, that nobody is going to put a race in the government.
But we've had that studies. A rabbit warrior does not go to elections and ask you know what happened in Georgia in 3 years ago? Somebody in fact, they used the data that they was used for even incentives. I think it's particularly targeted because he specialized to district. Because if it was the case about our party, somebody negotiating behind or whatever happened, they would have districted that candidate because we have gone in there for a contest. We were very well set, and we are happy that, I don't think that we have changed a lot the results. Fast forward to Malawi. In fact, after here, we just movement of going to Malawi agencies. And I tell you, we are enjoying the outcome, but our tactics are very different. We are not too loud because we know that the decision is going to be made on the ground. Maybe it should have come here to articulate. Particularly as the men of parliament, we articulated and people know that they need the council in Malawi, and we are winning that seat. And I want to come here after on Tuesday. I'm only the results are announced, but what I will tell you is that I think the honors is to make all parties to make sure that the exercise is very peaceful. We have had very peaceful campaigns. And we had a very peaceful nomination exercise last year. And I think when we come out, because at the end of the day, it's our country. And this culture of democracy must be cool right now. So we have competed fairly, and I think what we'll do is that people vote and give the IBC to conduct the exercise. Alright, thank you for coming. Positive response from people out there who are listening to this. TNA is smarter. Continues to be smarter. And even director will equal to the task. That is what she was saying earlier from Mombasa. Big compliments. Thanks for coming. It's nice to meet you. TNA is connected on what is cutting the TNA. I guess you can just stand and say this happened about this because the promise of the past is going to go on.